Hello again, the three of us here in Lausanne. Happy to see you again. In these sessions, we're going to look at everything around the athlete's health in the swim leg of an event. The main principle for the swim conduct is that the athletes can use any stroke. So if they want to go backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, whatever, they're allowed. They have, of course, to follow the course. Okay, that's why we have buoys. And they can also, if they wish, just stop, get a rest. As long as there's not a forward movement, they can even hold a kayak or a boat if they wish. In case you see an athlete's putting his arm, his arm up, okay? Don't expect that he's just waving at you. I mean, for safety issues, just go and have a look at him, because that's actually normally the call for assistance. And if he puts two hands, do the same. You never know. One thing that is important to note now is the swim behavior of the athlete in the water. So we have clearly now defined what should happen in terms of contact. So our sport is a sport of contact, or where contact can occur. So if it's done accidentally, inadvertently, and then they move apart, basically nothing happens.
Yeah. Okay. So you assume that in a mass swim start, there's going to be some accidental contact. Yes. Maybe not like that. Maybe that was a bit aggressive. But just through the normal ways of swimming, people will be touching. And so if you deem it not to be harmful or intentional, then you don't need to do anything.
Yeah. But if the contact happens several times and you see that it's quite volunteer, on a voluntary basis, basically you will have to penalize the athletes by a time penalty.
And this can happen a lot during corners when they're taking a direct line. So you really need to film this behavior so that you can see it in real time.
That means that now we have TOs that are really moving along the packs to make sure that it happens more than one time. Because if you're stationary, yeah, you just see it once, but then you don't see what happens 10 meters after.
Yeah, good point.
Okay. And the last one, of course, I mean, if it happens, it's a straight disqualification, and we report that higher up. You're disqualified, Thanos. And we report that higher up for possible sanctions that are more than the red card.
Yeah, you might see one or more athlete targeting a particular athlete and pushing them down and whatever, and that would result in a disqualification. Okay, athletes are allowed to push off the ground at the beginning and the end of every swim lap. That often happens when we're diving off the pontoon. Okay, wetsuits. These are very fashionable, and you want to be aware of when the athletes can wear a wetsuit, and we have little charts to help you. You'll see in the rule book if there's green highlight, then that means that a rule has been recently changed. And so it's when the wetsuit is mandatory, the wetsuit must cover at least the torso. Okay, so it's important to recognize that. And
this is just the age group athletes, yeah, just the difference between the temperature at which point we allow or not the wetsuit.
I have to apologize to Stefan. I stole one of his slides, so I'll give one of his slides to him next time. I like to hear myself talk. You'll notice that a lot. We have to be so careful in our sport, especially on the swim. And so we have instituted the maximum time an athlete can be in the water. And this is purely about safety. In the bike and the run, we can have time restrictions or cutoffs because of road closures and other things. But in the swim, this is the time limit, and you can't make any allowances for that. So this diagram helps you to decide or to know how long an athlete can stay in the water.
Exactly. From my side, I would like to point two items which are quite critical. The first is that according to the statistics that we have, most of the casualties in the triathlon competition are taking place during the swim. So having a proper safety plan and serve carefully all the rules that we have around safety, it's a primary concern. The second thing is the officiating in the water. We cannot be realistic that we are officiating in an event if there is one boat with technical official in the swim, or if it's no technical official in the swim. So this is not, cannot happen. So in our events now, we have to create conditions that we have between 2 and 3 technical officials, no matter what, in the swim, monitoring the swim conduct and making sure that the safety has been served. Thank you very much for being part of this webinar, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, looking forward to it.